Today we're being joined by potential AFLW draftee from the Geelong Falcons, Kiara Woods. Kiara, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Tell us a bit about yourself, what type of player you are and what got you into footy.
Well, what got me into footy was, like, when I was younger, at school I'd hang out with the boys and I'd play football and I really enjoyed it. And then my town in Banno started a girls' footy league and I really wanted to play, so I joined and I really loved it. I'd say I'm a tall player. Like, I play my part as being a tall, use that to my advantage.
All right. So are you more of a versatile tall, or do you center around certain few positions, or do you play all three areas?
Well, I more play ruck and like just a tall forward. So yeah, but ruck would be my main role.
Now, obviously, recently I've seen that you've been going through an ankle injury. How long has that process been, and how's that recovery? Is it towards the end? Is it over? How's the progression going?
Yeah, so I did my ankle May last year, and I tore my ligament in my left ankle, and they said it was like 4 to 6 weeks. I'll be recovered by then, and I'll play the rest of the season. I think 8 months right now, or going on 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it took way longer than it was supposed to. The physios and doctors I saw, they just weren't like, they didn't really know what was going on because the ligament was healed, the pain transferred to the other side of my foot. So they ended up figuring out I had bone bruising and fluid buildup in my ankle. And they ended up sending me to get cortisone in December. And that quickly cleared it up. So I was able to go back to running, and now I've started training again, just no contact.
Okay. So when the games start to come around, do you feel like that'd be around the time I'll be back, or it might be a bit later than that?
Well, I don't know. I think by round 1 I should hopefully be back. Hopefully.
Okay, that's good. So obviously you mentioned being at the Geelong Falcons and obviously been there last year as well. What's the time been like? Did you get to play any games last year? Obviously you mentioned it was May last year. So did you get to play any games before that?
Yeah, I got to play 4 games, which was good.
So obviously it's been a tougher journey than some, obviously not been really to be able to play at all last year pretty much, and then obviously towards the start of this year. So how have you gone throughout all this process? As you mentioned, it would be frustrating not only to be out that long, but then, what was meant to be 4 to 6 weeks, now it's 8-9 months, and now you're slowly getting back into it now.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. Like, it definitely got to my head a little bit, but I just knew that it was going to get better and I was going to play footy again. So yeah, I'm really happy to be back and can't wait to see what the season brings. Sure.
So what are some of your goals this year? Obviously, the major goal at the end of the year, I'm sure, is to be drafted, but what are some goals for you this year as a player at the Falcons, or obviously being a part of the AFLW Academy, which we'll get to shortly? So how has that been? Like, what's some goals you got for this year?
Well, obviously, hopefully to get drafted.
Yes.
I'd say also just to get back into the swing of things. Of course, with my ankle, get that fully recovered, and maybe even try a new role would be a good goal. Like maybe the forward line a bit more than ruck or something like that. And maybe just being a better footballer, being a better developed footballer.
That's good. I mean, and as you would be fully aware, these days, versatility is key in both the men's and the women's competition. If you're not versatile and you're struggling in one position, or someone's doing better than you, you're more than likely to find yourself out of the team. So it's obviously, as you mentioned, a good thing to be versatile as well. Now, obviously, being a part of the Vic Country squad, how did you react to getting told you're in that squad at the time you were?
Well, I did the squad last year, and I did not I did the under-16s one first, and that was surreal. Like, at that point, I didn't even know what Vic Country was. Like, I was just a footballer. Like, I just wanted to play it, have some fun. But originally, I got told, and I was like, "Well, what is that?" And then I found out, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And then I got chosen into it last year, and I was like, "This is actually crazy. It's surreal." And then this year as well, I was like, well, this is actually a really good opportunity. Like, I definitely developed when I was there. Even not being able to do much this camp, I still, I learned a lot, and I would definitely say I developed.
Yeah, you mentioned saying not being in contact here. So obviously with the camp, what did you do at the camp? And what did you mention briefly there, but what did you take out of it? Obviously, as you said, not fully involved because of the injury?
I did do some training, like just like the non-contact stuff, kicking, handballing and stuff like that. I did lots of running, which was good. It definitely helped with my fitness because that's like not that great at the moment, only because I haven't done much.
Yeah.
We also did learnt a lot about the game, and it was also good being around all the girls, getting to know everyone.
Sure. So who are some girls that you got to be a part of that squad that you've either now built a connection off purely for the fact of that camp, or some that the Falcons? There's another one or two at the Falcons, wasn't there, in that squad?
The Falcons, yeah. We had Sarah Haley, Mika Morrissey, Bella Huxtable, Sasha White, and I think Rebecca Clotty.
Okay, so there's a fair few. So how good was it having some of your Falcons teammates a part of that squad to make it a bit more, how do I word it, like comfortable, I suppose, and you going into a new or new squad of players, but knowing you've got some that you know already as well with you?
Yeah, it was really good, like knowing that I've got someone there to talk to if I needed to, or just like getting there comfortably, like knowing that I've got someone there, or multiple people there was really good. We hung out lots, but there was also like lots of new people that we could meet, and that was just really good.
Who's some players, probably more so outside of the Geelong Falcons girls, that probably kind of impressed you a little bit, which you obviously knew they were good enough to, obviously, because that's why they're in the squad. But who impressed you even more? Like, knew they were good, but like, Jesus Christ, they're actually even better than I thought.
Ash Central, 100%. Very composed player. She looks so smooth on the ground. It's just, she's a really good player. Maybe Lucia. She, even though she's gone through a foot injury as well, you could tell she worked hard through it, and she got through it. Now I think she's nearly back, maybe. But she's also really fun.
You mentioned as well before playing ruck and playing up forward and wanting to play some new roles, but what would you say is your big strengths, though, as a footballer? Like, so your marking, kicking, what would you say your biggest strengths are?
I'd say my marking, like my overhead marking and contested marking, would be definitely one. Also, my ruck work would be one as well.
Sure, that's a good one. Have you been in part of any of the leadership groups at the Falcons or any other teams you've been a part of? And if so, or if you haven't, is that something you want to look into at some point?
Yeah, well, I haven't been part of like a leadership group in the Falcons, but I'd definitely love to. That'd be a great opportunity, and just to like show the girls, it's like help them out if need, or someone to talk to.
Sure. Have you been given any advice from especially in at camp, on how to handle this draft year? Handle the talk, handle the pressure, and just playing as well, and mixing that up with Year 12 as well. What advice have they given you to do this year?
Just like take it slow, as quick as it comes around. You just gotta like relax, and just like take it all in, but don't get overwhelmed by it. And make time to not just focus on football, but also to have time to yourself. And
Sure. Who did you grow up barracking for?
Geelong.
Fair enough. How do you feel how Geelong went in both the men's and women's competitions, and the men's just missing out on finals, and the women's making it all the way to the prelim and so close to reaching that granny?
Yeah, no, the women's did really well. Definitely like the skill from season to season is just getting better each season, and they're doing really well. Hopefully maybe a granny this year, or finals again. And the men's did well as well. Yeah, really good.
That's good. Who are some of your favourite teammates at either the Vic Country sides or at the Falcons?
I'd say favourite teammates at the Falcons would be Sasha White. Definitely one to talk to. Always up for a chat. Very very good player. Yeah.
Okay, that'll be someone to try and get on then. What do you? Sorry, I read the wrong one. Favorite player to watch? I mean, obviously you mentioned barracking for Geelong. Is there any players you like model your game off as well that you compare yourself to? The style of play that you play like?
Well, I used to style my game off Joel Selwood because it was very I don't know, very in and under player. But then I realised it wasn't really for me because I was a very tall player. So I'd say I kind of base my game off Sam de Kroning now because he's very tall and he uses that to his advantage.
That's some good examples there. What would you say is your max distance kick and your average distance kick?
Oh, geez, I don't even know. I think My max would maybe be 45, maybe. Not too sure.
That's still good.
Yeah, and then average maybe like are we talking like just a kick down the
So
field?
if you're going to have multiple, if you're going to have multiple distance kicks to try and kick as far as you can, would that be around the mark still?
I'd say around 35, 40 maybe.
Fair enough. Any nicknames you get at the club that you like or dislike?
Woodsy is definitely the main one. Or KJ, some of my close friends call me.
Okay, very interesting. And I mean, sometimes nice and basic, sometimes is the way to go. What do you feel is the best individual game you've ever played that's got you noticed to the position that you're in right now that stands out to you?
I'd say one of my local games, so at Geelong West, would be one of maybe my under 15s games. In the finals, against, I think it was at the time St Albans and St Mary's mixed, and I was in ruck, and that was good. And then they're like, no, we'll just chuck it down forward as a tall target, and I ended up kicking a few goals. So yeah.
Very good. Do you play any other sports outside of footy? I know, as you said, you've been out for 8 months basically with an injury, so a bit hard to now. But beforehand, were you playing any other sports besides footy?
Yeah, I did athletics. That was probably the main one. And then when I was younger, I did a few other sports.
Nice. How do you feel you reckon you went at athletics? Were you racking up medals?
Yeah, I was at one point I wanted to start training and end up going to the Olympics, but then I kind of just dropped down and said I'd much rather football.
That's definitely fair enough. Any coaches' pets at the Falcons or any of the country or any other teams you've been a part of? Anyone that comes to mind?
No, not that I can think of, to be honest. We're all kind of all very intrigued and, all respect the coaches a lot, and we all just put in our hard work.
That's good. What do you feel is the best individual goal you've ever kicked at any, and is it jump straight to mind?
Oh, geez, I'm not too sure.
Any from the boundary?
Oh, no, not really.
Fair enough. If you were to hypothetically detail your best goal you would ever want to kick, you can be as unrealistic as you want. How would you describe it? Would it be a check side from the boundary? Would it be after the siren? Would it be from the boundary? Would it be from 50 plus out? How would you best describe your best hypothetical goal of the year?
I reckon it would be, probably check side. Yeah, after the siren side.
Make that even better. Now, go from that to the next one. Mark or goal of the year? Which one would you rather do and why?
I reckon mark of the year, because I don't know. I just feel like some they can be hard to do, depending on the mark that you take. So yeah, I'd probably say mark of the year.
Very true. Have you, now you said being a tall player, has anyone ever used you as a step ladder, I suppose, to try and take a speaking? And have they failed at every attempt to try that?
I have had one, and this was at training. This really she's pretty short. She tried to get the ball, but I kind of got in her way, so she just climbed my back, and she ended up taking the mark too.
So you helped her?
Yep.
That's all right. Any favourite TV shows or movies that you have?
I'd say my favourite movies, movie franchise, I don't know if you call it that, but it'd probably be High School Musical.
No, that's fair enough. Who loves the limelight, the attention at the Falcons or the Vic Country sides that you've been a part of, and they know where the camera is, and they know intentionally what to do?
I'd say Sarah Howley. She has a lot of fun in front of the cameras. Definitely knows what to do in front of them. Always gets a laugh out of everyone. Yeah. That's
good. Who do you feel is the best player in the AFLW competition? Because obviously it's so even. You got Jazz Garner, Ash Riddell, Ebony Marinoff, Mon Conti, Laura Garner, Ali Morford, etc. There's so many, and there's no real clear standout for me. But who would you put in that category?
I think I'd say Mon Conti.
Any particular reason why? Obviously, she's going to play 5. I think she's been in the comp for 5 years and won 5 club best and fairest. I know it's only club, but that's still a bloody good achievement.
She's just a really good player. She just knows how to get the ball, where to be, what to do. Yeah,
that's very true. If you could hypothetically, so obviously you back for Geelong, so let's hypothetically say you play for Geelong. If you could poach any other player from another AFLW team to join Geelong, who would you want, and why is it Mon?
I'd say Chloe Adams because
Okay.
she just got drafted at the end of last year, and she was one of my best friends, and our dream together was to play at Geelong together.
Okay, well, we'll see if that ends up happening down the line. Who are some players some underrated players that kind of fly under the radar that are in their draft year right now that don't get talked about as much as some of the other girls do?
I'd say Caitlin Charles would be a big contender for that. She gets talked about, but not as much as she should. I reckon she's a great player. She's amazing.
Yeah, got one name to keep an eye on for sure. What's something someone does at the club that you cannot stand, whether that's trying to scare people, leaving rubbish around, just annoying? Is there anyone that comes to mind? Or something in particular someone does?
No, not that I can think of.
Again, that's sometimes a good thing too, if anything like that's happening. Who would you say is one of the toughest opponents you've ever had to match up on at any level that you've been a part of?
I'd say again Chloe Adams. She's just really quick and hard to get around, and she's always got the ball and hard to get it off.
Very good. Any AFL or AFLW player interactions you've had as a player or a fan that like a memorable moment or an unforgettable moment, like meeting them in a game, a training, or anything like
that? Definitely Joel Selwood. He was my favourite player. Still will be my always favourite player, even though he's retired. But I met him, and it was the best moment of my life.
That's good, and I mean, that's good that you have it. If your favourite player and you get to meet them, and then the interaction goes well and smoothly, so you don't have the opposite happen to you potentially. Now defenders, obviously, I know you play as a ruck forward mainly, but looking to potentially play in other positions as well. Do you feel that defenders deserve a bit more love as well? Because obviously the Brownlows sent it towards midfielders, and even ruckman started to pull in votes, and then obviously the forwards at the Coleman. Defenders, should they have their own official title?
Yeah, 100%. Getting that, noticing what they do. They do a lot in the game. They just don't get noticed for it. I reckon they definitely should.
For sure. Best chatterbox at the club?
Stella Huxtable. She loves a good chat.
That's good. If you're stuck on a deserted island with teammates, who would you want there and who would you not want there?
I'd want Sasha White, Meg Alsop, and Caitlin Charles, because they'd be just fun to be around all the time. I don't know who I wouldn't want.
Fair enough.
Anyone who talks a lot.
Fair enough. And it's funny because that's kind of the next question as well. Who's the loudest and quietest teammate?
The quietest would... actually don't know the team so much, only because I haven't been really training because of my ankle. But I'd say the ones that I know, Caitlin would probably be one of the quietest, and Sarah or Stella would have to be one of the loudest.
Fair enough. Some fun facts about you that people may not know.
I have a twin sister.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. All right, where are you? Favorite food, and if so, alongside with that, your best dish to cook, if you do.
My favorite food is mango because it's just so refreshing and sweet.
Yeah.
And my favorite dish to cook, it's really simple, but I love cooking bolognese.
Yep, they're very good. Do you have cheese? Because that seems to be a topic of everyone these days. Cheese or no cheese? Would you have cheese?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, I ask that because I know a few people that don't like cheese, and I don't know what planet they're on. I just wanted to... So they're on their own. Sorry?
I don't like cheese that much, but I will have it when it's melted on things.
Yeah, that's fair. That's better than their answers. I'll take that answer. Is there any foods that you don't like?
I don't like tomatoes and I don't like beans.
Fair enough. With tomatoes, would you then have tomato sauce or just no tomatoes at all?
Yeah, I'll have tomato sauce, and it's really funny because bolognese is all tomato. I just won't have it by itself or in a salad.
100%. I'm the exact same. So I'm glad there's someone that is the exact same. We'll have tomato sauce, but as a tomatoes up chunk or whatever, no thanks.
Yeah.
Sure. How do you fancy yourself in front of goal on a footy field?
Oh, I wouldn't like. I'm not the best at like in front of goals if it was a set shot. On the run,
Yep.
it's all right, but set shots not the best.
Now that's fair enough. Just a few more questions. So I appreciate you coming on. Just a few short, sharp ones. Who would you say, if you were to best describe your best goal celebration, what would it be and why? Have you done any celebrations going on? Because I know a lot of people love showing off. We mentioned about the camera before. Any goal celebrations that you have done or would like to consider doing?
I don't think I've actually really done any, but I'd probably say just like the double fist.
Yeah. Now that seems to be a common trend these days. How are you with crowd hecklers? Have you ever had? You mentioned that playing at Geelong, where I'm from Geelong as well, so I know that league pretty well. Have you had any crowd hecklers? How are you with noise in the background? Do you just ignore them? And same on the field as well. How do you go about that?
Yeah, no, I don't really care, to be honest. Like, it's not like it doesn't really get to me as much. I just kind of listen to it, take it in, don't really mind it. Like, you're gonna have that. People aren't gonna, gonna love you all the time. But yeah, no, doesn't really bother me too much.
That's fair enough. So one more, so I really appreciate you coming on. Bold prediction for the AFLW competition this year. Or later in the year, what is your bold prediction? And in the men's too, for that matter.
Well, in the women's, I reckon Essendon might come on top, or Hawthorn, because they seem to have a good side this year. And then in the AFL, hope Geelong does. That'd be pretty good. But if I'm being realistic, maybe Hawthorn, or I reckon Hawthorn, yeah.
To make the 8, I assume that's what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, Gary. We'll revisit that at some point at the end of the year and see if both those predictions go well. I really appreciate you coming on. All the best in the last part of the recovery and hopefully back out round 1 for the Falcons and the other teams, and a long, successful career. Then at the end of the year, and AFLW. I appreciate you coming on and all the best.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you.